Welcome back to A Drop of Happy, your space for stressful living, well being, and entertainment. This is your drop of calm, clarity, joy, and fun. I am your host, Wanda Toby. And let's talk Bridgerton Season 4. It is now out on Netflix, finally. It's the first half, so it only has 8 episodes. The next 4 episodes will air February 26th. I wish they wouldn't do that because I would have already binged it. But here we are. So this is the Benedict and Sophie story. It's a Cinderella affair. Now, I already told y'all my favorite season is season 2 with Kate and Anthony. I don't believe Anthony and Kate are returning this season because they opted to go to India with Kate's family where they will have the baby. So we won't see them this season, and I don't believe we'll see Daphne this season either. It's been a minute since we've seen Simon. He out there living his best life, so we're not going to see him. But we did see Daphne last season, so I don't think we're going to see her this season. Now, I haven't looked up there's plenty of news articles about who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. I haven't looked it up. I'm just going off of last season and stories and stuff like that. So, however, I do like that we get to see more of Hyacinth. I'm actually excited for her story, although I read the books and I don't remember what her story was because I read it a while ago. But in the show, she's showing a little bit more spunk, a little bit more personality, and I'm liking it. Again, this story, though, is about Benjamin, and it's a Cinderella-type story where Sophie is being mistreated by her evil stepmother. She finds herself falling in love with Benjamin, but because she's a maid, that relationship would be scandalous. Other happenings in the show are that Penelope is trying to navigate being outed and open as Whistledown, the gossip queen, and how she is trying to deal with the pressures from the queen. What I really like about this season, though, is so far less about the couple and more about the peripheral stories, the subplots that we're getting, like the queen and Mrs. Danbury and what's going on with them, the non-happenings with John and Francesca, and of course with Mama Bridgerton, Violet and Marcus, where Violet is finally going to get her garden tended. Okay. Hey, of course, we cannot forget about meeting the Penwoods, and this is Sophie's family. So it's Sophie, her stepmother, and the 2 sisters. And in true Cinderella fashion, one of the sisters is really cruel, while the other is a little dim-witted, but she's sweet and she's kind-hearted. Now, it's been a while since I read this book, so parts are a little fuzzy. However, I do remember that Sophie was treated extremely poorly in the book as well. I do remember that. Before we get into the spoilers, I do want to kind of rank again, and I think I've done them before, but The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is season 2, Anthony and Kate, The Duke and I, these are the book names, which is season 1, Daphne and Simon, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is, that was season 3, and that's the Colin and Penelope story. So that's my third. This one, this season, could flip. I'm holding out judgment for the next 4 episodes. Let me see how the next 4 episodes go, and I'm going to see where it gets ranked. Again, the redeeming qualities for me for this season are, honestly, I can never get enough of a Cinderella love story. I know, we know what's going to happen. We know the story, but just like Pride and Prejudice mini variations, I watch every variation of the Cinderella story. So the subplots are just as interesting as the main story. Okay? And the behind the scenes, I really liked the behind the scenes with the servants, because it was given Downton Abbey, which I really enjoyed Downton Abbey. And that seeing that was like a Downton Abbey vibe, which again I enjoy, and I enjoyed like getting to know them a little bit more, and seeing the queen of the kitchen, because she she handles that kitchen, okay? She handles that kitchen. Violet's housekeeper, the main housekeeper, don't play with her. She's serious about her job. All right, feeling her. Now, let's get into the spoilers because I'm hoping we can discuss, because I'm hoping y'all already watched it. It's 4 episodes, y'all. Come on. Y'all can knock it out. Y'all can knock it out like I did. I'm saying to binge pull an all-nighter is not the way to go. Don't do that. But y'all should have watched it. So let's get into it. We already know Benedict is, they call it a rake. We call it a hoe. That's what he is. The word is a hoe. Okay. And they remind us that he's bi as well, because let's not mince. That's what he is. Because if you kind of thought you escaped last season, no, his little escapade last season was a one-time thing, we were reminded that it wasn't in the first episode, that he's a lover boy of both sexes. He likes them all. And he's a freak, got a different girl or guy every day of the week. It's true. All right. So the first episode starts off with Violet shifting her focus for Benedict to settle down. Violet's like, hold up. She tells him that he has to attend her ball because it is important, because it is the first season. It is the first ball of the season. Of course, I'm less like, the first ball of the what? Huh? Why? So this, of course, gives us a hint that something is up with Mrs. Danbury, who is not doing the first ball of the season. And if you remember from Queen Charlotte, there's a reason why she does the first ball of the season. And I will say this. If you haven't watched Queen Charlotte, I didn't include that in the rankings because it's not part of the Bridgerton story and books, but it's a spinoff and she got her own story. In order to really enjoy this and enjoy the interactions between Lady Danbury and the Queen Charlotte, you really should watch Queen Charlotte. Like, it just makes it so much better and it kind of heightens it a little bit. So if you haven't seen Queen Charlotte, you really should. But we do get a little hint as to why, as to what's up with her not doing the first ball and why is Violet doing the first ball. Violet decides to throw a masquerade ball. So she takes the helm by throwing this masquerade ball. In the books, Violet has a masquerade ball every year. But now they've introduced it. This is her first time doing the first ball, and she's going to have a masquerade ball. So this is where Benedict first sets eyes on his Cinderella, and he gets his breath taken away by her innocence and her wonderment, because quiet as it's kept, she's never been to situations like this. She's not a lady, but she is. Okay, let's focus. They dance, and she runs away at the stroke of midnight, and now he's like, oh, I gotta find this chick. Now, the queen also attends the ball, but she's bored. Like, she's bored. So she's like, talking with paternity, I'm not going to choose a diamond because diamonds have been messing up. Instead, I'm going to choose a gentleman. I'm going to choose a bachelor, kind of switch things up. She ends up selecting Benedict, even though Penelope's trying to get her not to select Benedict because everybody knows Benedict is dead set against getting married, allegedly. Anyway, personally, I think the queen purposely chooses him so things can be more challenging for her because she's bored and she's constantly trying to find ways to keep herself entertained. Personally, I'm just like, oh, is it entertainment that she seeks or just a distraction from losing her husband? Anyway, the queen ends up wagering with Penelope that Benedict will wed. And then she's like, where the heck is Benedict? Where did Benedict go? Now, Benedict, he is the most adorable, bashful hoe you've ever met. Like, I don't find him, he's not like sexy to me, but he's like adorable and got this quirky little, like cute little thing going on, right? Maybe in the second 4 episodes, he'll be more of a, because there's some stuff that's supposed to happen and he's supposed to step up. So this is of course in the books, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how they switch it up. Lady Danbury. Okay. Lady Danbury is tired of London and she wants to return home to see her family. So she tells the queen this in the most respectful and heartfelt way that she can muster. And the queen's like, no. Queen's like, you not leaving. She's like, we gonna stay friends, but I want to see my ancestral home and all that. Queen's like, no. So in later episodes, she ends up getting upset with the queen because then they're playing chess and she tries again. And she's like, okay, bet. So she leaves. She's like, oh, and this is the part. Somebody, all right, going back to Queen Charlotte, y'all. Somebody did like kind of like a side by side, but it's true. They were just like, there was some parallel moments with Lady Danbury and the queen. And the queen and George, because Lady Danbury was like telling the queen that she wanted to leave, and the queen was just like, nah, you're not leaving, you're my subject, blah 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 blah. So she was like, oh, bet, my bad, I'm sorry, I stepped out of place. That's what the Charlotte had said to George when George was like not giving her the time of day, because he didn't want to stay with her like the first night. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I stepped out of place, I'm just your queen, whatever. Lady Danbury does that to Charlotte, to the queen, and then she dips, like she gives her the silent treatment for a minute. She doesn't go play, she just ignores her. The problem is that's her girl. Of course, that's her girl, and that's her only friend for real, which worries Brimsley, because the queen is now clearly depressed, not interested in doing anything, like he's concerned. So Brimsley goes to Agatha and was just like, yo, please, she's your queen, you know how she is, like go make up with her. Even if you didn't do, like even if you're not sorry, go make up with her because she's your queen. He's concerned. Anyway, Lady Danbury ends up returning to the queen's side again. And this is when there's like another moment, because she's like, they're going back and forth, because she's like, I'm not sure if this was the first time or if this was when she comes back, because she's like, I'm going. Queen's like, no, you're not. She's like, I am. No, you're not. They have this little back and forth, which somebody again referenced back to the Queen Charlotte, that was like another parallel. Anyway, when she returns, she's about to get pissed and she's about to leave again, and Queen Charlotte's like, I'm sorry, which this is a very good heart wrenching scene, because Queen Charlotte reveals her vulnerability and she's like, look, I'm all alone again, like she was all alone back in the show Queen Charlotte. She's like, I'm all alone, I don't have any. So Lady Danbury kind of caves, because truth be told, she is all alone, especially with her husband in the state that he's in. But Lady Danbury comes up with a plan to get her a new lady in waiting, who'll challenge her and who'll be more of a friend, and eventually enters in Alice Mondrich. Okay, but the thing is, Alice is pissed. Alice is not down with it. She's offended. And she's like, I can't replace you, Lady Danbury. And Lady Danbury is like, I don't need you to replace me. So it's a little cliffhanger to see what happens there. I already touched on Violet. This season, Violet is not only concerned about getting her children married, but also about getting her garden tended to. And Marcus is ready, and Will and Marcus been ready. And by the end of episode 4, she's like, I am your tea. And they about to get it on. Okay? Penelope and Colin. Colin is just like background noise. Colin is just there. Okay, that's fine. Penelope, on the other hand, she got a lot of things going on, but she's feeling a little trapped and a little under the microscope with the queen wanting advanced tidbits about her Whistledown publication. Like, she's like another, like a gesture for the queen. She's like another distraction for the queen. And then she's also trying to navigate being a wife and her relationship with the siblings and stuff like that. So there's that. Eloise, this season, at first I was like, okay, she's cool, but she's still annoying. She's still annoying. And I guess, the fact that she's like trying to tell her mama she doesn't want to get married is still really hard for her because her mama is not listening. So she has that to navigate. But she don't have to be mean to her little sister. I mean, she's like kind of laying it thick on Hyacinth, I think. Okay, as usual, as Eloise does not want to be part of the marriage mart, but the difference is Hyacinth does. Hyacinth is excited. She wants to do all the things. She can't wait to come out for the season, and she's into all the etiquette classes and things like that. And Eloise is supposed to act as her chaperone, and she's like, I'm over this. So Eloise kind of spends the entire time bemoaning herself and being a party pooper, where Hyacinth is just excited to hang out with her sister. She eventually sets Eloise in her place, which I appreciate, because she's like, oh, you're selfish. Like, you're selfish for real, because I'm trying to spend time with you and you're not even trying to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. And that kind of takes Eloise back a little bit. It looks like she was just like, oh, let me think about it. Because I think part of it, Hyacinth wants to engage with her. Like, there was one point where Hyacinth was trying to tell her about a book and she wasn't trying to hear it because the book was about a ballerina. Didn't even give Hyacinth the chance to go into the whole book thing. But then when Sophie said it, which at this point she's quote unquote just a maid, she listens to Sophie instead of her little sister. So that, okay, so then Francesca and John, I'm a little annoyed with how they are handling this story. Because again, being a fan of the books, and I know I kind of at some point was just like, well, I have to detach myself from the books because it's the books, but it's not. Like, there's a lot of things that are different. So I'm like, oh, I have to detach myself from that. But my problem is that even though I was ready to roll with where they're going, like with Michaela, they're making it seem as though John and Francesca like weren't the couple. Like, John and Francesca is supposed to have two great loves, and they're making it seem like John and Francesca like was not a great love. Because whenever Michaela's around, Francesca has some sort of not so subtle reaction. And I'm like, sis, this didn't happen until after John was gone. Okay? Like, all of this. And then on top of it, that they're having sexual problems. Francesca's not getting her pinnacle, which again is not uncommon with women, like, because some women only get it certain ways anyway. But the fact that they're trying to hint that she had eyes for, in the books it's Michael, but she had eyes for Michaela, I don't like it. Like, this should have been after. And one of the big points is that she had some infertility issues for like ever in the books. Like, this was a big part of the book. Now, I don't know how that's going to play out. I just kind of wished it would have lived out. I don't have a problem with it being Michaela. I was curious. I was like, oh, how are they going to twist this and still keep the essence of the story? Now I feel like the essence of the story is not there. And that's kind of my issue. I mean, I feel like maybe they can still save it. But at this point, I don't know. Okay, so how they ended it, right? This is kind of big because now we're waiting for the next seasons, and this is how they ended it. Now, the name of this book is An Offer from a Gentleman, and I can't remember. I think in the book, yeah, he does make this proposition. So Benedict's like, listen, I love you. He doesn't say I love you, but he's like, girl, I can't get you out of my mind, blah, 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 blah. Be my mistress, because she's a maid, and that's it. That's all they can do. And for the life of me, I can't remember in the books if that happens or what have you, but that's how they end. Like, he asks her to be his mistress, and she doesn't say anything. She just kind of looks at him like bananas, and she walks away. She's like, oh, okay. But also, Lady Bridgerton, Violet, she's her and Marcus about to do the do. I think it ends really well. I kind of enjoyed it, because now I'm just like, oh, what's gonna happen next in the second half, and I can't wait. So it was a good way to end it. And that is your drop. Take what you like, leave the rest, and move gently into whatever comes next. If you enjoyed this entertainment moment, share it with someone who could use a little fun today. Like, share, subscribe, and do all the things.